Hello, this is Sven from Cheap Sheep Games, and in this video I show you how to assemble the church graveyard scoreboard element for the game Crimopolis. So you need four things for this one. One is the base scoreboard, which looks like this. This is the double layer board you found on top of the game. You need two punch out sheets. One of them has all of these church components in them. The other one has a few more church components and the walls that go around the graveyard, as well as a fairly long introduction of how to set up this church. Despite it should be straightforward, I'll show you how to set this up all together. And the last part is this sheet of 9 transparent labels that go at a very specific spot at the bottom of the scoreboard to keep everything nice and neat in place. So what I'll do is I go through this complete setup with you together and get this church built up. So what you will find is throughout the two punch out sheets you find little numbers like an 11 here, an 8 here, or a 24 here. In total there's 24 or 25 pieces, and we start with the ones that have the smallest numbers and work upwards. So on top of the explanation, the first part is part A, which is the front side of the church. Then we build the foundation of the church, and then we put this all together on the score part, and we'll end up with setting up the roof structure, put the roof on top of it, and fit all of the final pieces nicely together. So we start with the top right part, which is building the front of the church. For doing so, you got to go to this sheet here. You find here on the side part parts number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 is this big one here. Take them all out. So punch out these sheets. And take the front door itself, and then take those two side pieces. They go through the side part of that particular front door, and they fit into these nice little small slots here. So I'll take them aside. So we'll do this way, and this fits in like that. It should tuck neatly like this, and it should all hold by itself. Nothing should be loose and wobbly. We'll do here the exact same thing and put them together so you have a part that looks like this in a moment. So we'll now take the roof part for the front entrance door, which is this purple part. It has on the inside a wooden structure, so take the purple one to the outside and slide it here on the top, on top of or above the door as far as you can. So it looks like this, and you have your door entrance hole already done. Last part we do is we assemble that particular part to the front part of the church. Here you have two little slots in there. These long slots here on the door unit, which we just built, fit into this one. So we'll take that here and slide it together. Will look like this, and once this is slid together you actually have assembled the front part of the church with its door in. We'll put this aside, we'll need this in a minute. So the next part is what's called part B, which is this part here, which is the complete foundation of the church, including one part of the walls. So let's all punch out these parts. They go from number 6 to number 10. So on this sheet here already you find part number 8, so we'll take this out. And that's all you need from this side. Put this one away and get the other punch out sheet back and look for the pieces 6 to 10. So we have here in the bottom part number 9, so this comes out. We have here the other one, which is number 10. These are the side columns of those foundations. They go in last, show us in a minute. And we take those two big bottom parts out as well. So we put this all aside. I normally take this part first, and then you take part number 6, which is the one that has here this little foldable area on the side that goes as close as possible to the front part of the church, actually, so that slides in like this. And make sure this part here, this element here, sits close to the front door, and the other part itself is like that one, has the exact same element, and it works in the same way. So you slide this in, it should all fit and hold nicely by itself, and same thing, it has the exact same little foot. So you have these little feet here that go later on into the board. So what you do next is you take the back part of the church and slide this into the two sides of the church. Make sure that the front part itself, when you punched it out, goes the right way into the back part. So you have here again a little foot that comes out. There is one side is cut, and when you turn it around it's not cut. Take the cut side to the outside of the church. So when you assemble it, and this is all assembled together, and it looks like this, that you can see here this cutting line on the outside. There's no cutting line on the inside. Alright, so this is set up of part B. What's missing are the side columns. So you'll find them here. It was parts 9 and 10. It doesn't matter which way you put them in, they just go here on the side. They are for optical reasons. Slide them in, and that finishes the foundation of your church. So we put this aside, we'll need this in a minute. And we are off to step number 3, building component C, which is the entire counterboard on the bottom with the walls around the graveyard. So you need, beside the church foundation which we just built, a few more parts, number 11, 12 and 13, which are the side walls of the church. You have here 13, here number 12, and the one with the arc is the front entrance, number 11. When you assemble that onto the church board, first one is you slide the church itself into its position. So you take the scoreboard here, here and here are 3 little thin slots, and the church itself has 3 little feet at the bottom. They fit into those holes. So what you do is take this bottom part and slide those 3 feet just through those holes so that they fit here nicely in it and they come out here. Leave them the way they are right now. We don't need to do a lot of it with it. We'll do this in a minute and fix this up, but we put all of the other parts in. And the arc itself goes to the front. Pretty straightforward step. It has again 2 feet. Again, one side has cutting lines, one doesn't. Take the cutting line, in this case, to the outside. So feed this through those 2 little slots here in the front. Just they go in like this, snug and tight. And that's how they sit. And don't worry about the underside for the second, we do this in a minute. Now to these sides, these feet here with these cutting lines need to go to the inside. So we turn this around, so when you place that one here on this side, make sure you cannot see those cutting lines. And this fits here in this corner nicely into the front wall, and here in this corner into the back wall. And then fit those feet through the holes in the counterboard, and it should on the back look like this, and you see those 2 feet here coming out. And we do the same thing with the other side. Take your sidewall again. Remember, here is a little cutting line that goes to the inside of the board like this, and then you can just put this and slide this into those front and back walls like that, and the church parts or the wall parts go into the counterboard and come out on the bottom side. So what we've done now is setting up this complete board, and the only thing left doing is tightening this one up to the counterboard so that it doesn't come off while you're playing or packing it away later on. So that's a permanent fixture, and this is for what we need those labels for. So first of all, I normally start with the church. Fold over those 3 feet from the church that sits in this round circle, you can see here. So when you fold them over, the only thing you really do is you pull them over and slide them into this box here, and that's all you do, and you do this 3 times. So I started with that one. Take one of those labels off the label sheet. There are 9 in total. Take them off, and you see here a little end line going around this particular part. Put this transparent label just on top of that one to hold that folded foot in place. So that should fit very nicely here on it. Put this on top, and this will permanently fix the foot on your board. So I'll do the same thing with the other feet from the church. So I put this around and slide this in. It's another label, and it fits here as well on top of that particular square. It doesn't have to be perfectly aligned. It's just to really keep it roughly at the position where it belongs. And then the next one goes on. And this is how we put them all up. Fold them around. They fit nicely around in like this. Take the next one. Take your label. Put it here on top and it should fit. And let's do this for all of the others. So, and this is the last one. Here we go. We put all of these 9 feet around, all of the transparent labels are on top, and therefore the church top part and the graveyard walls themselves, they sit now on the wall, and as you can see, this is all fixed and there's nothing wobbly and loose, and it should stay for as long as you have the game. You will not have to disassemble that one. The entire scoreboard, like you see it right now, goes into the game box, into the insert tray. You just turn it around and put it upside down into the tray itself. Good, we've done this one. Now back to the explanation. If you turn that instruction sheet around, on the back side you will see how to assemble the top part of the church. There's only a few parts left. Let's start with the D part, which means we put all of the 4 side walls of the top of the church together, including the front window. So we take the parts from 14 to 19 out of the sheets. Start with the window part and take this part here, a side part, one of the two, it doesn't matter which one again, and you just slide them here in the corners together so it looks like this. And you do the same thing with the other side. You take one of those parts and slide them together, and the back part comes obviously in the back of these little parts, and you're ending up with a core structure of the top of the church. What we're now doing, last thing, is we take those 2 little figures for the columns, look like this, and put them on the sides here in those little slots you find. So take one of those, put him here on this side, take the other one and put it in the other side. Again, it should all sit quite tightly, and again the one with the window is the front, don't forget this. The small window is on the back, and this is what called the part D. We take the 2 roof parts, parts 20 and 21. What you keep an eye out for is that on the longer side, this is the short side, this is the bottom part of the church, and this is the longer side. There are 2 little slots here. The one that is closer to the side goes always to the front of the church. So here you have the other part that goes also to the front of the church, and the front of the church again is the one with the big window. So take this part, keep this close to where the window is, not vice versa, and slide this roof part here onto the top of the church, and that part is possibly the tightest of all of them. You can quite easily slide that through. It should be pretty straightforward, but be a bit careful that you don't damage the cardboard. The same thing, this is a one-off, you do this only once, but once it's slid in, it will be a little bit tight at the end. You'll see when you're done with this one, when the top of the roof actually ends up on the top of this triangular piece on the church. So this is how the first one is, and we do the exact same thing with the other part. Purple goes on the outside, brown goes on the inside, and again a reminder, this slot here that is more on the side goes to the front of the church, and it actually will be next to the other slot you're seeing there. So we'll do the same approach. We'll take the roof part here, slide it into the parts like this. Be a bit careful at the end when you slide this all together, but again it should be a pretty straightforward exercise. Be a bit careful that you're not damaging the cardboard parts like this. And now you have the church roof set up. So as this is still kind of loose, it's solid but it's kind of loose, we need another part that goes here into the slot to hold this all together. We take 2 parts out. One has this little logo of Crimopolis on it, part 22. Take this out, And there is another wooden structure, this part 23 here. Take this out as well. We'll need this one. So when you see the church on the top, you have here a longer slot now in the front, one more in the back and rear to the church. Which way you slide this in doesn't matter, but it has to go through the back part, not the front part. Slide this in till it sits and fits like roughly this. When you turn it around, you'll see in the inside of the structure, you actually see this part here coming through, and this is where this wooden looking part comes in place. So here is a wider slot in there that fits here on the side of the church, so you can put this in like that, just slide it here around that top part itself. That holds now everything tied together. So now even that top part here of the church is now nice and tight, and you can hold this and nothing is coming off here. Good. You've done the church top part. There's only one piece missing, which is the cross. That one will be eventually sitting here on the top. You slide this in on the front side like that, and this is how the roof structure of your church looks like. And when you play the game, you can put that part of the church on top of this one and it fits together. And when you have tombstones, so throughout the game, you take your tombstones, they all, if you take the top off, go into the church, all 40 of them, and this is how your game is set up. Thank you for watching.